I say it? NFC Championship game? Oh, so fantastic. Nick's favorite matchup for the weekend, Chiefs, Browns. Will Baker make a statement against Mahomes? And how can we not talk about the non-call heard around the world? Wait for it. There it was. Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolf alongside my guy, Nick Wright, my guy, Chris Broussard, and Kevin Wildes. Nick, did Brady get bailed out yet again?
No, I mean, listen, they changed the rules last night. OPI is not a foul, and neither is removing your helmet, slamming it on the turf, and then putting it back on. New rules, 2021, taunting not allowed, OPI definitely allowed. You gotta be kidding me, America.
Nick's got takes, America. Nick's got takes. Oh, sit back and enjoy. We got 2 hours of this. We start in Tampa, the defending champs, hosting the Cowboys on opening night. Bucs boys, Tom and Dak. Tom Brady making his 300th regular season start. Dak Prescott, not so much. Was returning from injury, and the two quarterbacks did not disappoint. Brady finishing with 4 touchdowns. Dak throwing for over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns himself. But this game would come down to one final drive. Here it is, Bucs down 1, under a minute to play. Brady finds his old buddy Gronk 20 yards to get into Cowboys territory. Shortly after, Brady to Chris Godwin. There it is, 24 yards to get into field goal range on a, should we call it a questionable non-call? Ryan Suckup drilling the 36-yarder, and that would seal it. 31-29, high-scoring game. Just an incredible ending to an amazing opening night. The Bucs pull out the very close win. Here is Tom Brady after the game on doing the right things at the right time.
The important part about the last drive of the game was, you know, we executed some really good plays at the right moment, and it was great to see. It's going to give us a lot of confidence.
Oh, there was no doubt we were going to go win the game. With him, it's just who was going to make plays, and guys up front did a hell of a job protecting, and guys went and got open.
There's plays that we left out there that could have resulted in touchdowns, and it's game one. It's a long season, but we've got to make sure that we get better from this one and allow this to be to propel us.
My dad called me last night. He said, what do you think? I said, I think it'll be a high-scoring game, comes down to 2 points. I did not say that. Nick, did last night say more about Brady and the Bucs or Dak and the Cowboys? I was way off on predicting this one.
Listen, I don't want to focus on the non-call to start the show. Jenna, you mentioned it, but the fact of the matter is, prior to the non-call, the Bucs were about to go in to score to put the game away, and they fumbled near the goal line. So the better team won last night. But I want to focus on the two biggest winners, even though neither one of them are on the Bucs. The first is Dak Prescott. I'll get to him in a moment. The second is our Kevin Wildes, who I must say, and I must publicly apologize to, because Kevin Wildes not only was the only one to pick the Cowboys, and I know they lost, he also gave an exact score prediction that if Greg Zuerlein was able to make first-half extra points or chip-shot field goals, Wildes would have nailed the score exactly right. And loyal First Things First listeners, viewers know, Wildes said Dak Prescott's going to throw the ball 58 times. And I laughed at him, and I think I called him an idiot.
Yep.
And he threw the ball 58 times. So, Wildes, you deserve massive credit.
Thank you, buddy.
And Dak Prescott deserves massive credit. I think that's the finest football game he's played since the Packers divisional round playoff game his rookie year. Now, he lost that game, too, on a final drive and a final field goal against an all-time great quarterback. But Dak Prescott, Broussard, under these conditions, against that defense, with his own coaching staff seemingly working against him, with massive drops early that killed drives, the fact that he came back and came back and came back, threw the ball damn near 60 times, and drove the Cowboys down for what could have been the game-winning field goal. If you're a Cowboys fan, I think you have to feel great. Not as good as you would if you had won, but Dak looks as good as he's ever looked. You went toe-to-toe with the favorites in your conference, and a call goes this way, a bounce goes that way, McCarthy goes for a touchdown instead of kicking a field goal. Maybe you're coming out of here 1-0. But most importantly, Broussard, Dak was marvelous. I think it's the best regular season game of his career.
Well, first of all, Nick, I can't believe I didn't get props at the beginning like Wilds and Dak either. I mean, didn't I sit on this show and guarantee a Buccaneers victory? Where's the love?
Yeah.
Where's the love? So I was right about that.
Not giving it to you. Yeah.
Jenna asked, which team and player, quarterback, were you most impressed with? No question, it was the Cowboys and Dak. I agree with everything you said, Nick, about Dak. And look, I believe, Nick, and you're right, Tampa Bay was marching and Godwin fumbled that ball, but that was a good hit. That wasn't just Godwin being sloppy. That was a nicely timed hit by the Cowboys to force that fumble. But Dallas outplayed the Buccaneers. They really did. I mean, they marched up and down the field. Tampa Bay's punter was tremendous because he was pinning the Cowboys in their own territory by the goal line time after time. And the Cowboys just continued to march up and down the field. They won the time of possession by almost 9 minutes. Dak playing without one of the best offensive linemen, Zach Martin, in the league, only gets sacked one time. Dallas looked great, and if it weren't for a 31-yard missed field goal and a missed extra point by a Pro Bowl kicker, maybe they win. I'll say maybe because, the circumstances of the game changed and maybe Tampa Bay rallies. But the Cowboys were incredibly impressive. You have to give them big-time love. And I said it before, if you're a Cowboys fan and you play them close, you got to feel good about this. To Dak, for him to do this in his first, not game, not series, but snap since he broke his ankle against one of the best defenses in the league and obviously the defending champs in their building. I can't say enough about him, and I have to throw this out there. Dak Prescott, I've always been a fan of his, from day one, because I'm a big intangibles guy when it comes to quarterbacks. I think that's largely what makes Brady and Joe Montana the two best to ever do it are their intangibles, their leadership, their ability to galvanize the locker room, their smart decision-making, their character, so on and so forth. Well, I've always seen the same things in Dak, but I've always thought he was a game manager with big play capabilities. A game manager who could make big plays with his legs or with his arms when necessary. He's changed my mind. I wrote off all those big yardage games in the past because they were mostly in desperation situations, trying to rally and come back from a couple touchdowns down. Last night, he looked like a quarterback who could put a team on his back without a running game, which they didn't have last night, and carry you to victory, even though they lost. So Dak, in my mind, has now moved from game manager with playmaking abilities to an elite quarterback, and I couldn't have been more impressed, Wilds.
I agree. And Broussard, just for the record, you went 2-0 with your predictions. You said that the Cowboys had no chance, but if they played it close, it'd be a moral victory. So you were right on both accounts. So you didn't just get one thing right. The moral victory counts too. You got two things right. All right, I came out of this game, Nick, with a new slogan: don't doubt Dak. Everybody wants, there's a whole careers to be made from doubting Dak Prescott. Oh, he's going to get franchise tagged again. Dak's like, it'll work out. He signs a huge contract. He ends up getting hurt. He's like, I'll be back and better than ever. No, he's going to be rusty. He comes back better than ever. Then after the game, he said something very interesting. I want to play the sound when he shook Tom Brady's hand, and then the press conference. I want to get your reaction after we listen to the sound. Take a listen.
Yeah, I think I told everybody we'd see him again. And that's just the confidence that I have in this group. And the expectations I have is this is a playoff team that's going to make a big push this year. And we've got to continue to get better, and we'll make a step from tonight. We'll find a way to get better tomorrow. And that's the process. We're going to stick to it. And we've got a good team and good men. And, yeah, I'm excited about this season.
Nick, usually we get a bunch of pablum in the post-game press conferences. I believe him. I 100% believe in Dak Prescott. People have been doubting him since the franchise tag. He's played so well and with such confidence. Now I believe the Cowboys are going to the playoffs.
Well, listen, I certainly, you know who this morning's not good for? Folks who were thinking Washington could win that division. Folks who were like, oh, no, I'm telling you, that defense, Dak Prescott, if you put the best qualities of all the other quarterbacks in the NFC East into one human being, they're still not as good as Dak Prescott is right now. Now, that's a compliment to Dak. It also talks about the state of the quarterback situation in that division. Cowboys are going to the playoffs, I believe. I think they're going to win that division. But I also think you now have to look at it and say, if that is going to be a playoff matchup we get again, I think the Cowboys go into it saying, we know we can win. We absolutely, unequivocally know we can beat these guys. And I think that, and we'll talk more about this element later, Broussard, but you alluded to it. I think the fact that the Cowboys were able to do that in a game where I thought they were poorly coached, they had bad special teams,